Hello, everyone tuning in today. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Jonah. I am from the Discover team, and we are all very excited to have Julia McCoy here today. Before we get going any further, just want to make sure you can hear and see us and everything is working. So please hop in the comments. Let us know that everything looks good, sounds good. Julia, if you can give just a little wave and hello so we know your audio and video is working well.
Hey, so good to be here with you, Jonah.
We love it so much. Also, please call out in the comments where you're tuning in from, maybe what you're excited to learn today. Julie, I know is going to cover quite a bit. So if
Yes.
there's if there's ever a point where you're freaking out or taking notes is just not viable, don't worry. We will have a replay available that'll be emailed to you. It'll also be available here on the same YouTube link or on the event description Discover page. We're getting in some comments here. Oh, tuning in. Shirley is tuning in from Surrey in the UK. Greetings from Zimbabwe. This is amazing.
Wow. That's
Love it.
awesome.
This is good. From Brooklyn. We got people from all over the world. That's so
Amazing.
cool.
Oh, I see people I recognize. Sarah.
Oh, there
Hey,
you go.
Sarah.
Oh, man.
Wow.
That is awesome. In Cape Town, South Africa. Okay, I wish we had a map of the globe here. This is amazing.
Yes.
Well,
Yes. I'm seeing like 5, 10, at least 10 different countries.
yeah.
Oh, there we go. Vancouver, Canada.
Canada.
Oh, Nicole's here. She's in my Content Hacker Academy as well.
Oh, there you
Bruce,
go.
he's in my academy. Oh my gosh. We got everybody.
Oh, you got a good team.
It's a party.
Hey. Where was Oh, and one more thing, just we will have a dedicated Q&A at the end of this event. So if you have questions, feel free to pop them in beforehand. We'll try and address them during the presentation. But if we don't get to them during the presentation, we'll have that dedicated section at the end. Without further ado, I would love to introduce, we have Julia McCoy here. She's going to teach us how to build a business through content ad-free and earn 100,000 visitors or $100,000 per month. A couple topics we're going to cover is learning about creating content in a way that equals sales and the correct mentality and skills to make that happen. Little background on Julia. Julia McCoy is a serial entrepreneur, content marketing strategist, and a passionate advocate of using content to build a business. She teaches courses at the Content Hacker Academy, leads operations at a writing agency, Express Writers, and writes best-selling books. Julia, I would love to get out of the way and hand it off to you. Are you ready to teach us some good information?
I am ready. Let's do this.
All
And thank
right.
you for that lovely introduction.
Of course. I'll pop your presentation up here.
Awesome. I'm going to go full screen with it.
All right.
Let me know when you can see it and we'll get started.
We are all good, Julia. Take it away.
Awesome. Well, I'm so glad to have you guys here with me today for this workshop on how to build a business through content. And just like Jonah was saying, earn 100,000 visitors or $100,000 per month. And Jonah already gave me a wonderful introduction. But what I'm known for is Express Writers and the Content Hacker Academy. And then, of course, I write books. So I know that this hour is precious, right? We all have time that we need to take care of how we spend it. So in case you're just wondering, well, am I in the right place? Is this going to be an hour well spent? And you don't already know me, like many of you here, Bruce, Sarah, Nicole. So you're in the right place if you are feeling stuck, if that's in your business, your marketing, or your presence, really any part of that. Also, if you're unsure of how to reach customers or create that engaging high ROI content that I think we all strive for as marketers that need to create content on a consistent basis. And then my last and favorite part, if you're ready to capitalize on this digital age, but you really have no idea where to start or how to grow. So my promise to you in this workshop is that I'm going to deliver as much value as I can. So get ready to learn, take notes, have a pen and paper, And know that nothing I'm going to teach you is based on theory, or it's a quick hack, or it's an overnight fix. If that's what you're looking for, I definitely recommend not spending your hour with me because that is not what you will learn. You will learn long-term strategies. In this internet age, I think the danger is to focus on quick wins that don't always equate to long-term success. And I've been doing what I've been doing for 10 years. I was a college dropout in 2011. And now I have a multi-million-dollar business because of our approach through content. So if you're ready, let's get into the topic. Turn off all your distractions. Get ready to take notes. Have a beverage. Strongly recommend water. Stay hydrated, right? Get up, take breaks if you need to, but be ready to lean in and really focus on this topic because this is important. Now, it's never been a better time to do content for our brands. Okay, so let's start by working backwards a little bit. I want to inspire you with what happens after you implement what I'm about to teach you. So once you have successful content marketing skills really built and then executed on and implemented, and yes, all of those things have to happen. Like I said, there's no quick hack here. You can see massive success. And this is really why we buckle in and we do the work. It's because content takes work, especially if we want to stand out and reach 100,000 people and make $100,000 a month. In order to do that, we have to be great at content. We have to be consistent. But here's the success story that you can have too. So in 10 years, we've never missed a single week of publishing a blog post. That might sound kind of awful, right? We don't take a vacation from our blog, but really what that looks like is I have a process and steps in place that are repeatable. And I am 2 months ahead of our blogging strategy. So we're creating great content every single week. It's going out, it's nurturing our audience. And the investment here is definitely not, a couple hundred. It is $3,000 a month because we are custom designing images. We are writing custom long form content. And by long form, I mean around 1,500 words, right? So that's not a short little post. This is long form content. So our visitor count is past 100,000 a month. And then our traffic worth, this is what SEMrush estimates we would be paying in PPC, which is of course pay per click in Google Ads. Well, we would be paying $200,000 a month. Pretty crazy, right? So we've earned that through our content. And if you're thinking to yourself, well, maybe you've launched 1 million backlink campaigns, Julia, we've never done that either. It's all been strategic, organic content. And then, of course, you have to have the numbers to back it up because traffic is nothing without sales. That is the world we have to live in. So here's proof of our revenue. As of March, we were sailing past $100,000 a month. And of course, this fluctuates, over COVID. I won't lie. We had quite a dip. We had some brick and mortars drop out, but we recovered. This is current sales. And the cool thing is we're actually seeing more revenue this year than what we made last year. So we're making a comeback and then some. And that's because, my friends, content marketing is in, advertising is really out. So the average ROI that you are going to gain now on ad spend is 0.6. Oh my gosh, it's not even 1%. SEO drives 1,000% more traffic than organic social media. Huge difference. SEO is so underrated, you guys. The SEO traffic, the traffic you get from organic SERP positions is 5 times greater than PPC because of trust. Our users, they are smart. They know what an ad looks like, and they really want to click on a result that has earned that position. It's not an ad. When's the last time you clicked on an ad? Very, very rarely do I click on one. And the stats continue to back that up. Users are 20 times more likely to click on your organic search result. And even big brands like Kraft are leaning into content. They're seeing a 4 times greater ROI on content than ads. And then this is one of my favorite statistics because this is just world record breaking. Last year, definitely some sad events, but because of what happened, the consumption of content skyrocketed. And we were looking at 3.6 billion searches a day in Google. Well, now that has gone up past 6 billion searches a day. So the fact is that no time in history have we seen this high amount of people using Google to answer their questions, whether they're, in the kitchen cooking and they're asking Alexa to search Google, they're on their phone looking for the nearest restaurant. Everyone is doing a search, and that is where traffic comes from. Okay, so you might be thinking, well, success through this method, is this for me? Yes, it is. I'm here to tell you that this is possible for everyone. This includes you, and if you're a marketing firm, those people you serve. So if you're doubting yourself and your chances of success through content, I want to call you out right now that needs to stop. You need to quit playing, thinking, and acting small. But I'm not going to veer into what I like to call the woo-woo lane. This kind of success really isn't that. It's not something where you're going to, just say a bunch of mantras and then wake up knowing exactly what to do. No. Strategic content marketing is all about planning and executing your own success by, getting strategic. So how do you do this? How do you plan, build, and execute your own success through content? Well, this is really the secret, and it is not a hack. Sad to say, I wish, because life would be so much easier, right? But it is not. Just like a diet that equals weight loss, going to the gym, building muscle, success through content is an ecosystem. And really what it is a combination of multiple skills that put together create effectiveness in your marketing, resulting, of course, in those things we all want: sales, profits, and the growth of our brand. So I got this quote from Jay Baer. Actually, it's not a one-hit shot into the dark. He founded Convince and Convert. And I love how he says that, because oftentimes we kind of approach content like that. It's easy too. We'll just put a blog out and you'll see success, right? No, not so much. You have to think of an ecosystem. So I've taught this to over 500 people in the academy, and there are multiple parts to it. And really, this is like the first time in a talk where you see me put it all together. So usually I reserve this for my courses. And if you're in the content strategy and marketing course, this is a great refresher. So really, it comes down to 2 areas, and we're going to talk about multiple processes within those areas, because I don't want to oversimplify it. And I don't want you to underestimate it, right? So it's really all about mindset and skills. So what kind of mindset? Well, a learner's mindset. That is what we have to adopt as content marketers that are going for those big numbers, those big success stories. We have to constantly be learning. I can't tell you how many times in the day I'm still learning, whether it's like what time of day to post a reel and get the most amount of views, how to tweak my Instagram bio, how to write that headline in a blog. I'm always learning and growing. And I've been doing this for 10 years, you guys. So the best mindset to have is to continually stay ahead of change and adapt by always learning. And I love what Peter Drucker said. He's known as the father of management thinking. He says that the most pressing task is to actually teach people how to learn. That's pretty powerful. And I would completely agree. So the ability to learn and having that as your mindset is critical. But not just that, we have to do some mindset work on how we think about the tasks that surround content marketing. So this kind of means a little bit of brain rewiring. I hate to say it. We have to rethink some of the stereotypes, some of the negative mindsets we've been fed in marketing throughout the years. And really, this is behind a lot of my success. I approach my tasks, so to speak, in a specific way. And this is really fueling my success at those tasks. Okay, so this is a twofold deal. You can't just have the mindset, right? We're going to talk about that in a minute, how to actually rewire your brain. But you also have to have the skills, which means you need to know what steps to take. You need to have clear processes in your back pocket. And that could be through a coach, a mentor, a course. But you need that in your back pocket. You can't be playing guessing games. Otherwise, you're going to fall short of that big target. Okay, so let's stop. I was blank 2 words there. I was going to say stop and talk, and that came out as stalk, and that's not right. Let's stop and do some mindset work. So, what do I mean by this? I'm going to have you walk through this with me. So I want you to take ownership of this task. And you can actually replace the word website with anything that you have to do, whether it's this week, today. Jonah is producing this amazing show. So it could be production for you, maybe content strategy, building a website. I know Bruce here does that. He builds amazing websites. Nicole writes, she's a copywriter. Sarah is a content marketing manager. So whatever you have to do today, replace that. So I want you to rethink this. Okay. So this is the average way to think. What I have to do today, well, that is a task on my to-do list, right? No. So let's rethink that. Let's rethink that. And I want you to say this with me. You can say it verbally. You can think it in your brain, but tell your system to think differently. So the way you think differently is approaching this task at the level it's at. So let's say I have to build my website today. I have to launch some landing pages. Well, instead of this is a task I have to do, this website is my online house. Or maybe it's the house of my employers that I am responsible for. So let's continue in that train of thought. This is not just a house where I exist, where my reputation, my expertise is tied to. It's also the place I live in online. It's a living, breathing place of habitation that's constantly evolving, being added to. We're furnishing it, we're updating it, we're maintaining it. In other words, we're making it beautiful. That's how to think of the tasks on our content marketing list, is to take ownership of it and approach it as something to actually add beauty to while we create, and be inspired to do that task in a different way. And then the bottom line that fuels me whenever I am thinking of the tasks I have to do is, well, I want my visitors, my customers, my prospects to love it too. And that's my end goal. And that's why we never stop short. We don't stop short. We don't post skimpy content. We don't launch a website that looks crappy, that has a million pop-ups interrupting our users, because we care. Really, the bottom line difference is we care. And these things are no longer tasks. We've taken ownership of them, and we know that we are responsible for how well they exist online. So that's mindset, right? That's mindset work that we just did. And then to back that up are the skills, because you can't just say this website that I'm creating, this thing that I'm creating is my reputation, is something of beauty, but you also have to have the skills to back that up. That way you know what you're actually doing, because it's not woo-woo, it's not guesswork. So some of the skills behind a great website are in this visual here. When you know what your foundation is, you've done the work to uncover your audience. You know what kinds of terms to target, the right keywords, the right topics to pull those people in. You know how to create content that works. You're creating long-form content on your blog that pulls in that traffic. And remember, over 95% of the world's traffic comes from Google. So, and then if Google produces 1,000% more traffic than social media, this should be our focus, creating a beautiful website that pulls in leads and revenue. And we have to live here, just like if we expect our users to live here, we have to live here too. We have to create the thing we're creating consistently and get better and better, right? We talked about a learner's mindset. Have that approach every day. Okay, so let's try another one. I want you to take a deep breath with me. And as you breathe in, let that new thinking come in, and breathe the old way of thinking out, right? So average, this is a task that's going to go. And now we're going to approach it as, how can I make this thing a thing of beauty, a thing that people want to live in? So here's another example of mindset work. If the other one confused you a little bit, it's totally fine. All this is definitely, I'm pulling out some new strategies here. They're not new for me, but this is really behind a lot of my success, is how I approach my task. It's not just the skill, it is the mindset. So let's do another exercise. I want you to insert your expertise. You are a website builder. You are a financial coach. You are a content marketing manager. So think about what you do. Define that. Okay, so for me, let's say I was in your shoes. Well, I would say I'm a content strategist and a marketing coach, just to simplify what I'm doing today. So here's the mindset work. I need to rethink that, right? So old thinking out, take a deep breath with me, new successful thinking in. So how do we rewire our brain when it comes to what we do? Well, we aren't just some old expert selling some old service. No, we have a clear content differentiation factor. So we have something that separates us from the rest of all the people out there, all the brands, all the website, all the Instagram profiles. And this is something as simple as a clear tagline that we've brainstormed and come up with. And I want you to pull up the worksheet because we have steps that you can actually go through and start writing out your differentiation factor. So Jonah's going to drop that in the chat. Look for that right now. Click on that link. It's a bit.ly link, and then go download that and do this exercise. Okay, so how do you frame your content differentiation factor? I'll talk you through it as you're opening that PDF. And the exercise starts on page 8, I believe. So here's how I could respin what I do based on that differentiation factor. And I'll give you a secret here. If you can name your audience in your differentiation factor, you're going to crush it. You're going to pull in those people from the get-go. So here's what I could say. I am a results-based content strategist for brands invested in customer-friendly marketing. So I'm going to give you some examples of real life people that do this so well. Anne Hanley is one. I've met her, listened to so many of her talks. She walks the talk. She's not just a New York Times bestseller. She's amazing. She's been doing what she's been doing for multiple decades. So her CDF is Anne Hanley inspires marketers to create marketing magic that gets real world results. And I think so often in marketing, the words magic, the words unicorn are completely overused. They are in too many Instagram bios. So don't do that, but do what Anne has done. See how she's pulled in that word, but immediately after comes the phrase real world results. So I think how she did that is really powerful. Great example of how to take something that's a little stereotypical and maybe, overused, and yet use it in a really good new way because she's attaching that phrase, real world results. Joe Pulizzi, he is the founder of Content Marketing Institute. He sold it for $30 million. Amazing person. He's one of my unofficial mentors. He actually is the first person that told me to get up on stage and speak. And I did not die. I am a massive introvert. I usually don't do this. Thanks to him, my speaking career kind of began. But this is his new brand called The Tilt. And this is his differentiation factor. The first headline is great. He tells you exactly who they're serving. We're turning content creators into content entrepreneurs. And then the differentiation factor itself is what they give you, everything you need to build your own personal content empire. And then even when to expect it, which is great. That's a trust builder. And how many people have subscribed. And then the way the CTA is presented, see how that email field is right there. I mean, it couldn't be more simple. And if you're struggling coming up with your differentiation factor, think simple. Who do you serve? How do you do it better than anyone else? So here's another example. This is from my Content Hacker Academy alumni, Monique Murrow. She is a course proofreader over at proofmango.com. That's her brand that she built. I love how simple she has created her differentiation factor. We exist to make online courses look good. So you don't have to be fancy. In fact, like we said earlier, go for clarity. That's always going to win. So here's mine, right? Because I got to practice what I preach, I should hope. So mine is learn relevant, powerful content marketing strategies that build long-term brands over at the Content Hacker. And one thing I've done in this CDF is I've tried to eliminate who I don't serve. So if you're in it for a quick win, if you're looking for that fast overnight, TikTok, 1 million views, but then you get no revenue 10 years later, well, you're probably not for me because what I teach you is long-term. You have to buckle in. You have to do the work. But if you do it, you will guarantee your own success, right? So we've attached that to this differentiation factor. So again, it's all about who you serve, what you do that's done better than anyone else, and really let the imposter syndrome go. We all have it. After 10 years, I launched a new program last Friday, and I still had imposter syndrome in my ear the whole time. So it doesn't go away. I'm very sad to say. You have to just shove that aside. You do things. You do things better than anyone else. You are an expert. You love what you do. So you need to showcase that, put that out there, and promise the people that you are going to serve, promise them those mega results. And if you have the skills to back that up and be confident in your skills, you have them, especially if you've buckled in, taken the time, the effort to learn them, you have them. So pull this out. And really the differentiation factor, you need that to be the answer to this ultimate question, which is, what is your unique standout perspective in your niche that makes you an expert to be heard in your space? So this is especially true for entrepreneurs, freelancers. You may do something that millions of other people do. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to do something very different, but you can have a unique perspective on what you do, right? So pull that out and then think about who you serve. Use that worksheet. Come back to it tonight if you want to. Set a phone reminder, right? Because sometimes these things take time. That's totally fine. You may not come up with it today. Or you might be inspired enough to do that. This differentiation factor can just be one sentence that goes in your Instagram bio, in your web page, and your home page of your website, right? So think about that. Something short and concise that can go there. Okay, so while you continue to let that just marinate in your brain, that CDF, that could be for you or the brand you work for. I want you to know that content marketing is like a puzzle or a pie, and you need to have all the pieces, all the ingredients for a 6-figure business to be built. That's 6-figure monthly, 7-figure yearly. To have that happen through content, which can happen in any niche, I truly believe. We've done over 40,000 content projects at Express Writers, and that is not too many zeros. We've actually completed that many projects for clients, and many of those have seen like a 70% rise in SERPs, like massive results from their content. And I've seen all the niches you could ever see. So don't second guess yourself. This can happen, but it takes mindset, skills, and quality and consistency. So you really can't have that pie, right, without all the ingredients. It's not going to be good. So I have this ecosystem model that I've kind of developed through the years. It's usually 6 different areas. This is what it looks like. So these 6 areas encompass all the skills that you need to practice and put into place in order to see that 7-figure a year business happen. So the first one, know your fundamentals, what makes you stand out. And we just worked through that. That was our exercise. The content differentiation factor. What can you stand on? What's your 1-sentence differentiation factor? And this is not an elevator pitch that you're going to share in a networking meeting. No, this is something you're going to stand on. This will be part of your homepage. This will live in your bios of your social media profiles. What are topics that you can share about with knowledge on? Then you need to know your audience. You need to know how to connect them to a sales funnel through different content pieces. And you need to have all those content pieces in place. And that looks like, a blog, white papers to explain your service, graphics to illustrate the cycle that, you might serve a client. For us, it's the life cycle of content. What does that look like? We have 5 stages whenever you hire Express Writers to write for you. So we've developed, a sales funnel focus piece of content that explains that. Then you need to know SEO skills, and I recommend some social media skills because platforms change. They are requiring a lot of different knowledge to adapt. For example, Reels are really hot right now. I was able to attract a really big client and then a producer from ABC from my Reels. So kind of mind blown that happened this year. So don't underestimate your knowledge and building those skills, right? Not just posting content. Our mindset is different, right? We rewired our mindset earlier. This is not a task. This is something to get great at. This is something to be known for. When that is your mindset, how you approach tasks really begins to evolve. You'll see it in your next few work cycles. So then it's all about building authority, having an understanding of what that looks like, and then getting consistent at your content. And notice that you're not creating content till the third, the fourth, and the fifth module here. And then the last one is all about kind of the technicalities. So your budget. For us, it's about $3,000 a month is what we sink into content. We know we expect to have to pay that. If you don't have a clear budget and it's just like, okay, what last minute funds can we assemble for content? You're not going to build a 6-figure a month business, guys, through content. You have to have a set budget in place. For 10 years, $3,000 a month. I have not taken a vacation from that. And here we are, $1,000 a month business. So to maintain that, those are skills as well. You have to maintain and update old content. And then part of this is learning how to delegate, learning how to grow a team that works for you. So you're not sitting at the computer at midnight. I do not recommend that. Content can be a slave driver if you let it. Don't let it. And you cannot let it by having the team and the skills in place. So the good news is you really don't have to go to college anymore to learn these skills to build a business through content. You can actually build them in a few weeks. In fact, it can be a matter of hours because last Friday, I just launched these new classes that are 1 hour total, and you can build a skill inside of 1 hour. And those are really for freelancers, marketers, and entrepreneurs. So we'll talk about those in a minute, but if you're feeling like the DIY path is more for you and you really want to figure it out yourself, well, I'm going to give you a story. I think you'll enjoy this one. Once upon a time, I was right there with you. If you are struggling seeing profits, actually 5 years out of the 10 years of being an entrepreneur, we struggled with profits. I mean, like $30,000 months, barely enough to make payroll. Yes, 5 years. So it wasn't until 2016 that I buckled in on my own content strategy. Okay. So I am the picture here of what not to do my first 5 years. So things had to change. We weren't really making any money. We had to do something. That year was kind of crazy. 2016, the year I buckled in and I learned content, so to speak, learned my strategy. I had a 2-year-old, my little girl, she was 2 back then. It was, she was so energetic. She didn't stop ever. She just constantly kept me on my toes. And then on top of that, we were trying to get out a blog every single day because we felt like quantity came first when actually it's not. Quality always comes first if you want to see profits from your content. We were doing cold outreach. I was sending dozens of emails a day, trying to reel in clients. We were pitching. We were trying to grow on every channel. Yes, it was a madhouse. You can imagine. I also had a pretty dead email list, but I had this dream, right? To earn and do so much more from my content marketing. So that year, things continued to go downhill really bad. Actually, the middle of that year, I found out that 2 of our agency managers were embezzling from us. They actually stole about 80 grand and they tried to steal my business. So talk about 6 failures on top of failures, right? Before our successes. That's our story. So that September, we really could have folded. We could have put in the cards because you talk about no profits. And then on top of that, we had 2 managers stealing from us. I had to fire. I had to rebuild my entire team. I was doing the management for several months. We could have folded, right? We could have thrown in the towel, but we didn't. And that September is when I built a content strategy. So we had our first $65,000 a month, actually more than that. And then next January, 2017 was when things really began to grow. And we went from a blog every single day to 3 blogs a week. We focused on long form content. We really went for authority over volume, and we saw things really begin to shift for us. We saw 6,000 keywords get indexed in Google. It was almost double the presence from last January. And then, of course, revenue grew. So in short, I could read all this to you, but really where we're at today is we're at a really good spot. 10 years in business. Last year was hard. Like I said, we had some humps to get over. We had some brick and mortars that dropped out because of COVID. Not much you can do there, right? But we came back. We rebuilt. We found new clients, and we didn't actually go out and pitch anyone. We had clients come to us because of our content. In fact, in the last, I want to say 3 years, it's been at least 3 years since we pitched any outside client. Think about that. Like, how much would your life change if clients came and sought you out every day? But hold up here, real story. I don't sit by the beach and make millions. Nope. If you're picturing that, get that image out of your head. This was our last vacation and the sand got in the car. It was annoying. We didn't sleep good. That picture, it's a vacation picture. So there's nothing passive about this. It does require effort. We don't take a vacation from our content. I am at my desk more often than at the beach. But the good news is the effort is really minimal because the skills, the process, the structure is in place, right? I spent those late nights. I learned those skills. I put them into place. I hired, I delegated, I built my team. So essentially, we guaranteed ourselves more chances of success. And this is what a lot of entrepreneurs miss that are still shooting in the dark. That you can guarantee yourself more chances of success, guys. If you have skills, a process, and an ecosystem that you fully understand, you're not guessing at. If you have all that in place, you're going to do better than, I think that statistic is it's 3 out of 5 businesses fail in the first year, and then it gets even crazier from there. So don't be that person, right? Let's be the long-term success stories, the 6-figure a month stories. So it's all about putting the practice of real skills into place. And then, of course, having the right mindset, right? Mindset and skills. So the reason why I especially love content, like I said, we've never been in a better age in the history of the world where people are using Google and the internet to find us. They are searching for their pain points right now. You could be there presenting the solution. Without working for it, your content works for it. Your content is there where they are searching. So here's an example of what a lead inquiry looks like for us. This was an actual physician looking to hire a web content writer with a multiple 5-figure budget. So he filled out the form. He's like, I'm here. I need content, right? He gives us his phone number, and he found us in Google, of course. That's how 99% of our leads find us, through our blogs and our web pages in Google. So we filled out our form, we called him, and then he purchased same week. So that's another thing that can happen from inbound leads. The people that come in, once they find you, they are hot, hot, hot. They are ready to buy. You can pitch them on high ticket prices. So it all started, right, with getting clear on that content strategy. Today, this brings in 99% of our clients. It is the form of marketing we rely on the most. It's easy to maintain. I have a process in place. I have an editorial calendar. I have predictable topics delegated to writers. I have that process in place. We're not hustling 24/7, and we're not scrounging around for the next client. So really quick, and Jonah, you can hop in and tell me if I need to wrap this up, but I wanted to end on 3 major mistakes to avoid with your content marketing.
We're doing fine on time here, Julia. Definitely want to hear these, so go.
Oh, good. Perfect. Great. Okay, good. 77 slides, and we are doing good. So let's go into this. The 3 common mistakes to avoid with your content marketing, especially whether you're investing in a course, if you're just starting out, you're hiring that coach, you are doing content, there are common mistakes you can easily avoid. And I want to share those with you. And if you put these 3 into practice, you will be ahead of like 80% of content marketers because of the fact that these just happen all the time. And it's really sad. So the first one is a lack of focus, just doing too much at once. You might remember the story I told you from 2016, right? When things just really fell in on me and I could have walked away as a failure because I was feeling like one, but we didn't. We kept going. Well, that year, I realized I was just doing too much. We were doing a blog a day. We were pitching many clients. We were running campaigns. You have to take a step back and you have to focus. So I want you to let that thinking go right now that you have to do it all. You don't. In fact, if you get good at just a couple things, that is where your conversions can come from. So trying to do it all, especially in this industry of content marketing, that is the fastest way to kill conversions, guys. Doing it all. Our revenue was just going down, down, down because I wasn't focusing. And this plays in as well. Quality is so important. I still see, Industries like finance, legal, technical that are publishing blogs that are 100 words. They don't have subheaders, they don't have images. So that is a lack of quality. And what that can actually do if you're putting out content that does not uphold quality in every single piece, that can actually kill your reputation. Because if someone interacts with that piece of content and that's their touch point with your brand, they might not be back. So the chances of retention just dropped. That's why I don't publish unless it's really, really dang good. And I am tough on my writers that we hire because of this. Content is what builds our brand. That touch point can actually cause people to leave us, and it can do more harm than good. And we're paying for it on top of that. We're doing it on top of that. So we're just focus on things that are not going to kill your brand. Whatever you do, make sure it has quality. Make sure you can trust the creators, if you're hiring some, to produce content for you. So in content marketing, the quality really makes or breaks. This is kind of the factor that builds your brand or breaks your brand. One of the best stories comes from Unbounce. Ollie Gardner, he founded a multi-million-dollar company now called Unbounce. And what he did, he didn't go get funding at the beginning. He went and published a 10,000-word guide as a guest post on Moz. It was called The Noob's Guide to Digital Marketing, I believe. That one piece of content, that 10,000-word massive piece of content, built their brands, and it got them to their first $1 million year. What? So quality is the factor. 1,500 words might not be enough. You might need to go deeper if it's a topic like how to build a website. That's an ultimate guide. You need at least 5,000 words. So think about quality. If you wow and knock the socks off the people that are on your site, that's conversions, trust, authority, reputation all day. And that's why people come back. So this is really important to remember about content, that if you do it the cheap way, you try to cheapen out, it can actually do more harm than good, which is painful to think about, right? We don't want to waste our money. We don't want to waste our time. So the last one is incorrect knowledge of what it takes to see ROI can also be detrimental, as well as a lack of patience. So remember what we said at the beginning, whenever I was inspiring you about our success story through content. We invest $3,000 every single month. And then we're patient. We're patient about the results to expect. Excuse me. So if you don't know how to implement the right techniques, it can get very costly, very fast. So it's important to remember there are no overnight hacks. Patience, having the right mindset, you're learning every day, you're approaching your task differently. This is not something I have to do. This is something I want to do the best. How can I make this beautiful today? This thing I'm producing, this thing I'm creating, this content piece I'm publishing, it could even be a client you're serving. How can I make this the best interaction they've ever had? Shoot for what's the saying? Shoot for the moon, and at least you land among the stars. So make your goal, make your mindset, make your approach that really go big or go home mindset, and don't doubt yourself. Really, we all have imposter syndrome. Don't let that get the better of you. You have skills, lean into that. So in just 1 year, as you saw on that timeline, right, we talked about once I got my content strategy in place, we went from $30,000 a month, and on top of that, a detrimental, lost our entire management staff. But, a clear content strategy helped us come back from one of the greatest potential failures I've ever had in business. We put a content strategy in place, we hired a great team, and then we saw $100,000 months happen. So this is true, no matter what your industry is. And you can do it the way I did, 5 years of trial and error where you're pulling your hair out, you are tired, you're overworked, working too late at night, your kid is not sleeping. We have a crazy little girl that has the amount of energy I do. So yes, you can do it that route, or you can fast track it. And I do have courses, workshops in the Content Hacker Academy that can help you fast track this. So we're about to switch over to Q&A here, but I'll recap this offer Really briefly, for the next 7 days, we have a code just for you. If you're here watching this live workshop, the code is Discover. You can save 20% on any of my programs. So what will happen is when you enroll, and it could be in a workshop, right? We have 9 that just launched. These are like the cliff notes to the skill. Once you jump in, you get past that intro video that walks you through like what to expect. You're learning the skill from the second you hit that play button. And then you have implementation sheets that will help you do hands-on exercises. So those are 1 hour each. They are little tiny skills that can translate to big successes, like how to build a website, how to set up done for you service-based model. We have training specific for freelancers. If you want to create hot content that gets shared like crazy, I have a training on BuzzSumo just for you. If you want to learn how to write, if you are wanting to buckle in this year and really know how to write, and it could be for big publications like Entrepreneur, I show you exactly how to do that in one of those workshops. So all of those workshops, you can enroll in any with the code Discover and save 20%. And I think you'll be able to, yes, that means you'll be able to get that workshop today for $159 a seat. And then if you want the roadmap, if you want what I was showing you that we built that really brought us to those $100,000 months, because it's an ecosystem, right? You could be missing the skill, a couple skills here and there, get a workshop. But if you need that ecosystem, go for my 6-week program. That is normally $1,000, but today you can get it for $797. And whenever you enroll in any one of these 2 areas, programs that I teach, everything unlocks immediately. You don't have to wait. I create proven programs. I beta test them before we launch them. There are no like hacks and gimmicks to what I teach. We don't even have a funnel. It's just, if you want it, you buy it. It's good stuff, right? So that is the offer, and that I think that ends in 7 days. So grab that code Discover, think about it for a few days if you need to, and you can get 20% off either areas, the workshops or my ultimate content strategy and marketing course. I know a few of you watching are in the course, so I hope today was a great refresher for you. I'm so thrilled that you were here, and I'm going to pass it over back to Jonah.
Yeah, so we already got some people throwing questions into the chat, but just want to make clear for our viewers that we're going to start doing a little Q&A here. So if you have more questions, throw them in there. And Julia, just to be clear, it sounds like there's the link to the course that's pinned in the comments and in the description. That's specifically the content marketing course, but you also have a whole ecosystem. Can you once more say clearly like where people would go if they want to see just your whole ecosystem of courses and what you offer?
Yes, great question. Well, we actually last Friday, on top of the new workshops, we launched a website. I have to practice what I preach, right? So we built the ecosystem for all the things, and it's actually at one domain, contentmarketingcoaching.com. So if you go there, you can see the workshops, that course. You can actually see all 3 courses I teach. One is the Expert SEO Writer, and then the other one is the Content Strategy and Marketing course, which really touches on what we talked about today. But yes, contentmarketingcoaching.com.
Contentmarketingcoaching.com. Awesome. We have a couple questions already popping in. Feel free, viewers, to continue asking questions. Also, feel free to share any takeaways from this event. Or it sounds like there's some people who have taken the course already. If there's something in the course that you learned, feel free to share it in the comments. But why don't we start off here? And there's a few people asking this question, but Annette said $3,000 a month budget spent on what? Paying writers? Is it not for ads?
That's actually a great question. It's so second nature now. I'm just like, yeah, we spend $3,000 a month on content, but I'm like, wait a minute, you have to explain that. So that is writers and designers, and specifically writers and designers at Express Writers that I've worked closely with, that know our tone of voice. They know like our brand guidelines. They know how to write in that authoritative tone of voice. So it's really like hiring great writers and designers. And we don't spend a penny on anything promotional. It's all just organic content that gets published from our site.
That's awesome. So your employees are your expense, basically.
Yes, exactly.
That's really cool. Okay. I was wondering the same thing. Yeah, it's like, where's that money going? That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, at Express Writers, like we have to be what we sell. So I'm like, I better be able to hire my own writers. If I can't, I'm in trouble.
Right. And then this is a little more personal question coming from
Mm.
Kaylin. Do you feel like you were restarting your business after your managers left?
Yes, yes. It's interesting. Just that question gives me a different perspective on it, where it really was like a fresh start. And as I look back, like, yes, it was difficult. We had 100-hour weeks that we had to, I was filling like 5 different roles at one point while we were hiring. But what it did for us was it allowed us to completely rebuild trust because those managers had been destroying trust with our clients. So
Mm,
I personally reached out. I was talking to like all of our clients at one point, and we were able to build so much new trust. So
mm.
it was really like an awesome time to also launch your first content strategy, where we have like brand guidelines developed, we have a clear schedule of content happening. So that coincided with this fresh start where clients were learning to trust us all over again. So
Do
yes,
you
definitely.
do you feel like like clients who went through that process, like maybe have a greater trust in you because of the way you
Mm.
handled that?
Great question. You know what's crazy? That weekend, so it happened on a Mother's Day weekend. Oh, and that's when like we had to fire them, get in there, start saving our business. That weekend, we had the most sales we've ever had in any weekend. And I published this email, and my business mentor told me not to, but my gut was like, do it. So I did it. And the note that we sent all of our clients was basically leveling with them on those 2 managers. Like, they can't be trusted, and the next week, those 2 people went and tried to email my entire client list and steal them from me. So if I hadn't done that and told all of our clients what they were capable of, and okay, look, we're rebuilding our business. We're going to give you so much a better experience than you've ever had because of what we just found out. So that really saved our business, was just me using content to be very honest with our clients.
Wow. What a thing to handle. God.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
Um,
like, I can do anything in life.
yeah, right. Now you're saying. Very practical question from Kaylin here. Do you host live sessions in your academy?
Yes, yes, I do. Especially in the workshops, actually, that's something we've built in where you'll be able to pick a day and a time. We have live sessions coming up. I think it'll be late July. So once you enroll in the workshops, of course, you have that on-demand video curriculum with worksheets, templates, and then you're in a private group where you get to vote on a day and a time to be there for the live session. And then all my courses come with one-to-one access.
Awesome. Awesome. Uh, this is a great question here from Anthony. I feel like
Mm.
mentoring is critical to develop some of the skills needed to build a successful business. Do you think having a mentor helps to build the confidence needed to be successful?
Yes, 100%. And at the beginning, you saw from my journey for the first 5 years, out of these 10 years, I didn't really have a mentor. And I learned a lot of tough lessons. I think I would have learned like how to trust people, like what direction to go in with my content if I had hired a coach and a mentor. I just didn't stop to think of it. I was going
Mm,
too fast, doing too much. But if you're smarter than I was, yes, definitely get a mentor, because like the shortcut is you get there so much faster because you learn from someone who's been there, done that. And that's like, you have to watch out who you hire, because you really need a practitioner. You can hire a guru who's like, get to $1 million, but they haven't done it themselves, then you're kind of
right.
in trouble. So get a practitioner as a mentor. You're good.
Okay. Awesome. Uh, and then how did this is
Mm.
a hard one, but I know you mentioned it, but we all suffer. How did you overcome imposter syndrome?
Yes, great question. So for me, it's really a habit of grounding myself every single morning. So
Mm,
before I jump into work, and this really changed it for me. Like, I have a much more calm, like less reactive, more proactive approach. So I just ground myself every morning for like 30 minutes. I'm praying, meditating, whatever it is that grounds you. Start there. Don't jump into work. And then those voices that come up while we're in our workday are so much easier to just like pipe down, because like you have this calm foundation you've started your day on. So that really helps me. And some people like swear by journaling in the morning, they get all their thoughts out, but my hand is sore after a minute. So I'm like, no, I
right.
don't do that.
Like,
I type.
I feel like it's a feedback loop too. The more you succeed, the less it freaks you out.
Yes.
But maybe it never really fully goes away. I don't know.
No, it doesn't. I'm like, okay, this is the 15th launch I've done, and I still go to bed thinking, are they going to love me in the morning?
Right,
It
right.
doesn't go away.
Well, and I wonder sometimes too when I see people who seem like they don't have imposter syndrome, if they don't have it or if they're just better at hiding it, and it
Mhm.
makes
I think you're onto something.
we're I think we're slowly getting over time here, but we had one more really good question coming in from Ingrid Lyons. How do you feel like your experience dropping out of college has impacted your process business mindset?
That's a great question. Well, you can see it behind me. I wrote this book called Skip the Degree. So obviously it was a good thing. But I think that, especially in this digital age of content marketing, where we have to learn how to serve customers that are, they're hopping on Instagram, they're researching Google, they're doing a ton of different things. How do we serve them best? Well, that theory isn't taught as much anymore in a college textbook. And if you take up that marketing class, that textbook or that professor you learn from may not be a practitioner in the field, and they might be teaching you something that sets you backward. So that's like the crazy difficult part about explaining college, like especially when we hire at Express Writers and we look for writers. We can't hire college graduates unless they've like done some work to unlearn that stuffy writing, that AP English, because that you'll turn away readers so quickly. You cannot write an essay online. It doesn't work. So it can actually be a shortcut in the digital age. Of course, there's some vocations where you need college. There's no doubt about it. But for this digital age, drop out sooner and you might get successful quicker.
Yeah. Well, and with resources like Teachable and yourself, it begs the question, do you go to school and learn from someone who's a professor or someone like you who's
Mm,
actively doing it every day? But those
yes.
resources are available right now, which is so cool. We live in a great
Yes,
time. Yeah.
we do. So true.
Uh, that I think we're wrapping up on the Q&A for the moment. We don't want to keep people too long here. First off, I did want to say thank you, Julia, so much. I am going to drop one more time in the comments that worksheet you gave. If you didn't go and check that out, it's awesome. It actually has in the PDF a place where you can type your answers, so it's very interactive. Uh,
Mhm.
Julia, before we kind of wrap up, did you have any last little wisdom or recommendations for people starting on this journey?
Oh, that's hard. How do you sum up? So, well, I think, you know what? I would share this, that don't do everything, don't expect success to happen too quickly, and just be ready to like buckle in, work for it, be patient, and spend the time, learn the skill, build that skill, practice it, and you'll see success. And it may not be tomorrow. Tomorrow you might wake up really confused.
Yeah,
That's okay. You have to walk through that.
yeah.
And that's common when you're learning a new skill.
Well, I love too, you mentioned everyone's searching for instant viral success, but I think
Mhm.
you put it that you're increasing your chances of success.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
love that as a mentality versus trying to make the one viral video that makes you famous. Yeah.
Yes, and those
I-
don't often equal revenue either, that's the sad fact.
No, you'll see creators with thousands and thousands of followers, but no links to any products or anything. And it's like, is this a business or not?
Right, it's
Yeah.
not.
Well, yeah, thank you so much, Julia.
Thank you, this was tons of fun.
Yeah, we hope to have you back. And for everyone watching, once again, there will be a replay available. The link to the course that Julia is offering a discount on is in the description. It'll also be in the replay email sent to you. If you like this video, if you learned something, please comment. Let Julia know something you learned, or just say thank you. We appreciate you being here so much. If you enjoy learning, you like this kind of content, please subscribe to the Discover YouTube channel. And without further ado, thank you all for joining us. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, bye
Thank
guys.
thank you, Julia. Farewell.